Hey guys, it's Carrie Beasley with the Sling County Library. So we had a bow making class this weekend, and I wanted to show you guys how we did it because, in case you wanted to make one at home, you didn't get to make it to the class. We made two different bows. So this is the first one. We don't really know what it's called, but we called it a traditional bow. It's got, it's kind of squished because it was in my bag, but it's got these nice big loops and then a center loop, and then you can have some tails. You can make as many tails as you want and add them on. And then the second one, we've just been calling it a funky bow. It's made of two different size ribbons. You can do whatever sizes you want. We used, I think this is a 3-inch and a 1.5 inch, and you just all different size loops and then tails, and then some people even made their tails where they stuck up here in the bow, and it looked pretty cool. But I'm going to show you guys a little bit on how to do this. Now, with all the techniques that you learn with the bow, it's just one of those things that once you know how to do it, you can completely change it up and however you want. You can do different size ribbons, you can add different ones to it. I made one of these that had a solid burlap on the back and then a green on the front, and that's what I have on this wreath right here, this one. And then you can also add tails to it later. And this one you can pretty much do whatever. I made one of them that had, instead of 6 ribbons, it had 8, and they were all different. One of the ladies, I think she used 7, or she might have used 8, but it was really cool how she had the tails all in here. It looked like a really crazy party celebration thing. But anyways, so to start with this one, I am going to just do a red burlap bow, and 1 spool is plenty, and then it's one of those things that if you want to add more you can. But so we start out with our tail. She suggested like a 6-inch tail. If you want more, you can always go back and add more, but just to start out with 6-inch. And so you're gonna just make loops, basically is how you do it. So you're gonna make your loop. So you have my loop right here, and then you're just gonna pinch it with your thumb and your first finger. I want to make mine a little bit bigger. Make my loop a little bit bigger. She said about 4 inches. So pinch it with your thumb and your forefinger, or your first finger, and then I'm gonna show you. You go back here and you want to twist it back so that this is just burlap, so it's hard to see. But if you had a printed ribbon like this one, if I was to just do my loop, it would have this non-pretty side showing. So by twisting it back here and then pinching it again, I'll have pretty sides showing. And she refers to this part back here that's behind the loop as the work ribbon. So when I say work ribbon, that's what I'm referring to. But anyways, then so we have our 1 loop, and then we twisted it, and then we're gonna make another loop on like the bottom, and pinch it, and then you're also going to twist that again. It's easier to just let your ribbon fall. Then you twist that again, and the twisting, even on burlap, it doesn't show very well what the side it is, but it really does help it stay in place. So you're going to twist it again, or twist it 1 time. Then you can make another loop up here, and then twist the back, and then do the same thing again on the other side. It gets to be a lot to hold this in, and she suggested using like a clothespin to hold these, maybe, especially if you want to add you want to start adding another color. Like right now, it might be a good time to add another color to it. I'm just going to do one more on each side. Add it, twist it, and do my last loop. The traditional bow normally has an even amount of loops on each side. Like it has 3 on here and 3 on here. So that's how it is normally. So once I've got my 3 loops, we're gonna make this middle loop, you know, the pretty part. And you know, you could just fasten it right now with a pipe cleaner and then hot glue one. But she showed this really cool trick, and I'm gonna try to do it. She does it a lot better than I do. But like, she made a loop over her thumb and kept everything pinched together, and then brought it back here in the back. And then what she did, it's really hard to hold everything that's pinched together. Okay. So I have it pinched here in the back. I've got my loop right there. She takes one of these pipe cleaners and just bend it. And you're gonna wanna poke it through this loop to where it comes in the back where you've got everything held together. And then pull it back and push the ribbon down so that everything gets, and then just turn it 1 or 2 times. And now, I'm not the best at making these, but the more you make, the better it gets. Now I'm gonna cut off my end so I can kind of show you. Okay. One of my little pieces had gotten out of the pipe cleaner, so I just kind of stuck it in there. Just for safekeeping. But now, so I have my little bow. And in the back I have the pipe cleaner, and this is what you use to secure it to your wreath or whatever you want to. Just kind of start fluffing it however you want. You can completely manipulate it however you want at this point. Yeah, I'm not the best at these. And then if you want to dovetail your ends, she showed this trick about folding it in half. And then you're going to want to take, these aren't even, so I'm going to go ahead and make them even so I can show you better. But you're going to fold it in half, and then on the folded side, you're going to want to cut an angle up, because if you cut an angle down, it's going to make it towards a point. But if you cut up, it'll make that pretty little dovetail. So, cut up. There's my little dovetail. And there's my little traditional bow. Again, I'm not the best at making these. Hers are a lot prettier than mine. She did this one. Again, it's in flattened. And if you want to add a tail, it's super easy. Just get your piece that you want to add, however long you want it to be. Pinch it wherever you want the tail to be, and then just, you can either secure it, you can undo the the pipe cleaner and secure it, I just go ahead and just twist it on there. Because I know if I undo it, I don't know if I'm gonna get it back. And then you can change them. I don't want them this long. I only want them like this long. And then I'm gonna do my little dovetails. I'll go ahead and show you what I mean by the angle part. So this is if you do it, you cut down from the fold. It makes this point, which if you want it to look like that, you can. But I want the dovetail, so I'm gonna cut up from the fold, and it makes the dovetail. And so that's what it looks like with the tail added. Pretty cool. Not the prettiest, but it's pretty cool. Then the other bow that we learned how to make is what we call the funky bow. And this one is super easy. You use a lot of the same techniques as the first one. And they're all gonna look different. But we had 2 of the 3-inch ribbon, and it's about 30 inches long. So I have 2 of those. You can do whatever colors you want. You can do all different colors. You can do, 2 of the same colors. It's whatever you want. And then we use 1.5-inch ribbon for this, but a lot of the ones that she had 2.5-inch ribbon or 2-inch ribbon. So we used 4 different colors. This one only has 3, which is fine. You can do as many as you want. This is a complete wild card of a bow. And these have already been dovetailed, but you can wait until the end to do the dovetail. But they're all the same length. And so what she did is, Miss Jessica was our teacher, by the way. She started with one of the thicker bows. You start with a thicker bow and end with a thicker bow, unless you're doing all the same size, then it doesn't really matter. But you can kind of decide what length you want your tails to be, if you want them to be the different lengths. Oops. If you want them to be different lengths, or if you want it to be the same length, it's up to you. Piece of ribbon. You're going to lay it over. Remember to make sure to look at your tails and get your tails right. And you're going to make sure when you get your loop, you always twist it. And then get your next one, lay it on top. Most of these don't matter because I think this is the only one that's got different. But whenever you're laying it on top, you want to make sure that the pretty side is what's going to be in the front of the bow. It just depends on how you work. If you work with the front looking at you or the back looking at you. I tend to work with the front facing that way. So we're going to start and make a loop. Again, lost my train of thought. So we're going to take a loop back here and then twist it. And you often find me switching hands, but it's probably not the best way to do it. It's probably why I confuse myself so much. Then another piece, we're gonna have it in the front. We're gonna make another loop. These loops, you can make them all the same. You can make some of them bigger than the others. It's really up to you. And then twist it. And then another one. I'm gonna make this one bigger and see what it looks like. And twist it in the back. And then my last piece, add it to the front, make my loop, pinch it together, twist it in the back. Okay, now you've got, it looks like an octopus, which is fine. Show my pipe cleaner. Again, bend your pipe cleaner. You can bend it. She bent it over with her thumb. I bend it on my forefinger. It really doesn't matter. And then do one. Pinch it together. Just twist it once, and then just kind of fluff it around. Make sure you've got your pieces how you want. And this one is one that's really not going to stay its shape right until you put it next to something. So now if you want it to, for the pipe cleaner, you could separate the tails like I have here, and put the pipe cleaner between there, so it would kind of separate it. You don't have to undo the pipe cleaner, just so you can separate it so that you know whenever you put it on, that's where the middle is. But anyways, it's kind of fun and funky. The more little pieces you add to it, the cooler it gets. You can make it really full. And then, like I said, you can, some of these, she had the ribbon going up in the back, going up in the bow. It's probably a bad example of that one. But it was really fun and really cool.